What is happening, guys? Martin Martinez back again. So guys, as I've mentioned, the channel has taken a complete 360 revolution. We're going in the focus now of focusing on languages. So again, me personally, as an individual, I've spent a lot of time through the years learning languages, or learning Spanish at least. And then over time, from the process of learning Spanish, you get involved in the Spanish culture, you start to understand a little bit more about lifestyle, food habits, all these different things that come into it. You can probably see from the picture as well, that's a picture of Madrid, that's a picture of, I think it's Banco de España, I think is like the main national bank sort of thing. And I spent a few months in Madrid, guys. This is going back some years. So at this point now, I think we're talking like 2012 or so, I was in Madrid. So right about now, not speaking much Spanish before that, not really understanding Spanish at all, getting to a point where I got borderline, I'd say at least a B1 to B2 level at the end of my 3 months in Madrid. And then from there, I just kept on with it, kept on learning about, again, as I say, cultural aspects, and started to learn about, especially with the music as well, listening to bachata music and everything else. For those that know, listening to salsa music, reggaeton. Now, once you start going into those genres, obviously everything's so big. The world of a language is extremely diverse. Different countries obviously speaking the language as well, so you'll have those elements in there. So ultimately, guys, I'm at a point now with the Spanish at least, where it's like pretty much I'm probably, I think the pandemic could say ruined it a little bit for me. It was very difficult for me to keep going forward with the interaction with native speakers, because I wasn't able to have that time to just be around native speakers as much. I don't really speak to that many people over video call and everything else like that. So, you know, you may see people out maybe socially, but that's a little slightly different dynamic. So from the language perspective now, Spanish, I feel like I've lost quite a lot. I'm using this channel really more so as maybe a diary for myself to sort of note how I get back up to that level I would like to be at. But in the process of understanding Spanish, don't know why the camera's done that. In the process of understanding Spanish, to a point at least, then it allowed me to start understanding a little bit more of French, and it started allowing me to understand a little bit more of Italian. Portuguese, to some extent, I can understand a little bit. I can speak some of the words, I can speak some phrases, but I've not gone too much into it. Outside of that, I've started to learn some German, so you'll see the different speech bubbles that have the different, obviously different countries on there, and they're the languages I'm focusing on for the purpose of this particular channel. But guys, again, how are you on your language journey? Have you been learning along the way? Have you been learning from school and you continued, or you've left it alone? I know in America it's quite big in respect of obviously being able to speak some Spanish, because you know, I think it's the second most spoken language in America. So that being said, I'm pretty sure it's taught a lot in schools, if anything. But then even then within itself, you got the Puerto Ricans, you got the Cubans, you got different elements that are going into America as well. So the Spanish, again, it can be a bit of a mix and a bit of a different flavor over there. But outside of that, at this point now, as I say, I'm pretty much on the stage of about B1 to B2. So I can understand, I can speak to 8 points, as I say, but for me, I just need a bit more time and opportunity to maybe interact, and I have to put the time in for that. So some language tips, again, some things I'd say for those that want to even make a start. These things are not probably available in the same way as the ones were before, but back in the day when they were cassette tapes and different things like that, I would look at maybe something like this. Just putting out there, Michel Thomas, for example, that one would be something that's completely just, you know, his voice was a bit rough, you could say, to some extent, but it did help me get to a certain point in the language and understanding the language. The style of teaching maybe is a little bit, I don't want to say if it's not relevant now or not, because again, it's down to yourself how you learn, but that might be one to check out. Also an amazing one I've been using right about now to help me with German as well is Pimsleur. Just put the link up there for you as well, or at least that you can see what the logo is. Pimsleur, that's been fantastic to learn languages. It's really been quite useful, because basically you pay like £18 a month, which is quite expensive. But if you think about how long it would take you to go to an actual language lesson and do these different things, Pimsleur are all audio. The same with Michel Thomas, it's all audio. You got the app on your phone, you can go through that, you can actually pick, I think there's like at least nearly 20 plus languages you can pick from. So German, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Hungarian, Siberian, different type of languages that people don't necessarily just think of, I'm going to learn this language, but the opportunity is there for you to do it. So I'm focusing on that right about now. Italian, French, Spanish, German, obviously speak English as well. And I'm just trying to see how that goes. And what I'm trying to do now is make a conscious effort every single day to try and understand something new in the language, at least one piece of vocabulary that's different in one of these languages. So my target languages just for the moment, as I say, on a daily basis, Spanish, Italian, German. French I pick up as I go along as well, but you can't do everything. And I also have questions about when I see different polyglots, they're saying that they're learning multiple languages at the same time. If you can think in that way, fantastic. But I do think that we learn from experiences, and I do think that we do need to, well, at least me personally, need to drill down and focus on a language rather than just trying to do everything at the same time. But that being said, it's important probably to start your language journey today. Don't just keep leaving it, saying, I always want to, because the time will come in your life when you look back and say, well, for all these years I always wanted to, but you never actually did. And that's the reason why I'm changing this channel and making it focus on languages. And that's the reason why I'm asking you to comment, like, and subscribe. And also, if you do have any language tips that you want to put down below for me to keep learning, let me know down below. And also for other people, let's create a community, guys. Focus on this world, which is basically getting probably a little bit smaller, you could say. But again, there's so much to take from cultures. Hopefully at some point, again, when I'm traveling, I can start doing some vlogs as well, traveling and also focus on these languages. I'm probably going to start asking people about how many languages they speak, because that is a very good point to focus on and see where they come from, see how they've learned the languages. But for me, guys, gracias para todo, y ahora nos vemos en, no sé, la próxima, Ok, chao.